Welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Payments campaign. Now, few industries have developed as fast as online payments. On the bleeding edge of technology, the name of the game is embedded finance, buy now, pay later, and even cryptocurrency integration. But at the same time, a lot of consumers are excluded from even the simplest of online transactions. Billions of people across Africa, Asia, and Latin America don't have credit or debit cards that would allow them access to online shopping. How can merchants accept payments from these regions without incurring sky-high costs and risks? Well, that's what we're going to discuss with Gustavo Ruiz Moya, CEO of eCash for Latin America and Global Head for Open Banking at PaySafe. Gustavo, welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Payments campaign. To start, can you describe the state of play with the global infrastructure payments?
It's extremely complex. You've got difference from not only cultural use of payment means per market, per region. Also, you have all the regulatory issues that encompass how you need to set up the infrastructure in markets. If I use as an example the UK, where you've got open banking, real-time banking services, a lot of the consumers do have a credit card, they use it in and out. It's very simple to transact. However, if you go to Latin America where cash is king, the networks exist, but they don't confirm in real time. So that for e-commerce poses a problem.
Wouldn't the easiest solution then to encourage everyone around the world to have a credit or a debit card?
Well, if you think about it, not everybody can access a credit card, and the issuers or the financial services companies are not necessarily willing to issue credit cards to everybody because there's a credit risk involved. On the side of debit, even though a large majority has a debit card, merchants are not willing to take on the risk because there's a chargeback issues around the use of debit, particularly on international transactions.
So where does that fragmentation then leave a merchant looking for global access to consumers?
Handicapped to a great extent. One, because for a merchant to actually go into a market is very difficult. Creating legal entities, it's actually quite complex. Getting bank accounts or access to acquiring platforms, it's even more complex. So a merchant is faced with multiple issues, which is not their core business. Let's take Latin America, where only about 55% of the total population is banked, and only about 40% of that has a credit card. So that leaves a significant number of consumers that cannot access e-commerce through those products or services.
So if this level of fragmentation is so high, how can it be solved on a global scale?
PaySafe has global reach. We process transactions in more than 100 markets. We have multiple payment methods. So what we actually enable is the ability to access real-time banking services, to access cash converted into digital through an extended network of more than 1 million payment points. We also can do card acquiring, which includes credit card and debit card acquiring. And we also have wallets. So with these different means of payment, plus the ability to pay out, we're actually able to enable the functionality for the merchant. In addition to that, we actually have entities in all markets that allow us to process all of these payment means on behalf of the merchant. All those problems through a single API connection, through the services we provide, will basically go away. So once a merchant connects to PaySafe or the PaySafe network, we enable the capability to process and access these new customer segments.
Can you give me an example of the difference that PaySafe can make to a merchant?
Well, first, we provide access to all the markets that we serve. We have local entities there. We provide a single API through which the merchant can connect multiple payment means, so bank transfer or real-time banking, cash to digital, credit card processing, payouts, and the wallets. So in essence, with those payment means, the merchant can access all the customer segments. As an example, an airline that wants to sell their product into Latin America, they would have to set up the entities, which we have, and they can use those entities on their behalf. They can collect through our network in multiple currencies, and we basically consolidate everything that's collected, reconcile it, and pay out in the money of origin. So for the merchant, it's a very simple process to connect and to enable these payment needs across the globe.
Simple, but how much will they pay, the merchant?
It's actually very interesting because the network we've built allows us, and the scale we have, to provide the services at a much more reasonable cost than the competition.
So how does a merchant get started with PaySafe?
It's very simple. We actually have a team that works on the integration that does a consultancy job. So we want to understand what the scope of the merchant is, where they want to go, what segments are they trying to address. We assess their existing payment methods if they have, or we make a proposal through which they can access multiple segments. We provide all the technical information for them to actually be able to integrate quickly. And once integrated, we work through a hand-holding process through which we do marketing exercise, we educate the end consumer, we work with the merchant to communicate the value proposition as such, and then that drives volume. The end objective is, how do we help the merchant sell more?
Gustavo, can you give us the three key takeaways, your key three takeaways from this discussion?
PaySafe provides global access through a single API. We enable new customer segments by providing payment means that cover the whole gamut. So we do real-time banking, we do card acquiring, we do cash into digital, we do wallets, so that for a merchant is of great value. And we do it, the third takeaway is we do it at the reasonable costs. And we are compliant. We ensure that there's a compliant process as we integrate the merchant into the network that we built.